Never was. Same as it never was. 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 Never was.
Why did you move for the next album from Ninja Tune to K7?
Well, it's something we've been thinking about for a little while anyway, you know, that it was time to just do something different all over, and that's what Same As It Never Was is, because there's lots of things we've changed, not just the record label, but we have a new manager, new agent, new singer, and we're generally trying to promote the group in a different way, you know, showing people that we are a band as opposed to two guys in a studio, because two guys in a studio is not very interesting. And that's really how we started the Herbaliser, but for a very long time, you know, really since a year after, or 18 months after we signed to Ninja Tune, we became a band. So now it's very important that, which is why it's good actually to do this interview with a couple of other people here, even though probably Jake and I will just answer the questions. But so Ninja Tune has changed a lot as well, you know, there's lots of all sorts of different stuff, and we just didn't feel as connected with it as we used to, and just thought, you know, it's time for a change, and if we don't kind of do this now, we'll probably won't do it. We'll get too settled, and while we're still young, we wanted to try something new. And K7, they really impressed us with their enthusiasm. They were very keen to get us on board. So, you know, they said they can try lots of new things, and they had a plan, you know. So they convinced us.
So at the beginning, there were only you, Ollie, and Jake. Where did you find everyone, the band?
Well, when I met Jake, he already actually had a band, a funky band, which Mickey Moody there, on the sofa over there, was the drummer in that band. And also a guy called Kylie Tatham, who went on to be in Bugs in the Attic. He's also known as Agent K. And Jake was already playing with these guys, you know, playing funk and stuff like that. And then at the same time that he was doing that, Jake and I would get together one day a week and make stuff with samples. And it turned out to be the stuff with samples that, you know, we managed to get a record label interested in. So after a short time, where I had been going out with Ninja Tune guys and DJing and going to some other countries, Jake thought it would be a really good idea to do more than just DJing, you know, because at the time, now there's lots of live bands doing, you know, all sorts of stuff. But at the time, that kind of music wasn't really being represented very well in a live way. You know, there was a lot of performances by guys with laptops and things like that, you know. And we wanted to do something where there was something obviously live happening on stage. And so I think, 18 months after we signed to Ninja, we started going out as the Herbaliser band, and it's proven to be very successful. People really like it. It's probably the reason why we're still around, whereas a lot of people who were making music that was considered in the same style or the same genre back in the 90s, a lot of these people disappeared, you know. Where are they? Don't know.
So in fact you're about more than 10 people on stage, I think. No? More than? Yes, yes. I have seen you several times and you were about 11.
When we started off as a live band, we didn't usually have any vocalists, so the more successful we got, the bigger we made the band and we got more guys in the horns. But now, for the last few years, we've been using vocalists live, so it's 7 people on stage at the moment. It's a little bit smaller than it was in the past.
Okay, so on those 7 people, who is the brain when you compose the album? Is everyone playing in studio?
Well, the way we, up until this record, in the past, Jake and I have created tracks using samples and playing some keyboards and bass guitar and stuff like that in the studio. And then we've asked various members to come in and play some stuff, or we've given it to Ralph and Andy and they've composed some horns. But even now, even though we're a whole group of people, it's still Jake and I who basically laid down the foundation of the track and have final word as to how we want the track to be. And that's good because even though now we've kind of brought some of the other guys in on a much more equal standing, up until this point they're used to the fact that it's sort of Jake and I's project and that we know how we want it to come out. So everyone works well together because everyone just has an understanding, and also because all these different guys in the band, they're also playing in different bands and they have different projects, so no one's frustrated feeling, we played on the Herbaliser record but I didn't get to make the song the way I wanted it, because they do another project where they get to make the song the way they want it. But I think all these different people with all different styles of music that they're into really is the strength of the Herbaliser, and it's what makes it different from other groups, because there's lots of hip-hop groups, where all the guys are into the same kind of stuff, so the music, while pretty good, it's not as diverse. We have lots of different styles that we mix into our sound.
Singer, which is Jessica Darling. So who is she and who are the other guests on the new album?
Jessica Darling, she's a new young singer. When I say new, she's new to our attention and to other people's attention, but obviously she's been singing for some time, since she's a little girl. But she first met up with some of the other guys from the band in one of their other projects. They also do basically just about everyone from the Herbaliser band is also in this other band called the Swells, which is like a 1940s 1950s R&B kind of music, except Jake and I aren't involved. We would want to make it too hip-hoppy probably. But she came in once to do a concert with them when their singer couldn't make it. They brought her in because she knew, I think, the guitarist of that band, and they were really impressed with her. And so a couple of the guys, Ralph and Andy, they asked her down to their studio and started working on some music with her. And then after doing some really good stuff, they thought it'd be a good idea to work with Jake and I and see what we came up with. And so we we did a couple of demos and they worked out really well. So we did some more stuff, and yeah, and it's all on the record. And the next record there'll be even more stuff with Jessica Darling.
The new album is pretty funky, very soulful, very groovy. I think you come from the hip hop, so actually, what is the other members' influences?
I mean, everyone in the group is into all sorts of different stuff. Even like a guy like me who's like really into hip hop. I'm into lots of other music as well. And the more time we all spend together, the more we learn about different things, because some people are into classical music and country music and jazz and everything. Pretty much everything's covered. Mickey Moody over there is into heavy metal. He loves his heavy rock. Ollie Parfit loves a bit of Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. There's so many different things, and we just admire music on a basic level of good composition and good songwriting and good performance, and it's not really based on genres. The music we make is slightly genre orientated, but we try to to pull in all these different sounds from different types of music and put it in there, because when you sample and stuff like that, you can sound like anything you want. I don't really understand producers that always sample from the same kind of records.
So another question, the album's called Same As It Never Was. What does it mean?
Well, it's like I was saying earlier, we came to a point where we wanted to do something different. When we made this record, we felt we had a different kind of record, and so we thought that maybe it's time to do it with a different label. And then we had a new manager and a new agent, and just this new attitude to how we were going to present the group. And that's kind of what Same As It Never Was means. Is it's a lot of the same things that you've heard from us previously, but in a completely different way.
Okay, lately I listened to the Fabric DJ set. So how did you take this opportunity to mix for Fabric? So Herbaliser was not really known as a DJ.
I mean, I think we are fairly well known for our DJ sets as well. We are more well known as a band, but Jake and I have been DJing at Fabric a lot over, not so much lately, but a few years ago we were DJing 4 or 5 times a year in Fabric, so we were kind of like regular Fabric Live DJs. So they just thought it was correct and right that we should get to do a mix too.
About the album again, when I hear tracks like Amorous Bongo, seems like an old cartoon. So are you interested in making some movie soundtrack?
Absolutely. It's something from early on, Jake and I identified that we really were both into a lot of funky soundtrack music. I mean, all sorts of soundtrack music, really. That it's such an interesting medium to work in rather than pop music, because you're creating music to go with a visual or a scene, and it has a different dynamic. And often, when making an instrumental, we didn't just want to go through the same kind of verse, chorus, verse arrangement, and so we would kind of imagine scenes and create soundtracks for them. And we've always wanted to actually do a real soundtrack, and we're still waiting for somebody to ask us.
Perhaps the last question. Yes, I saw you playing even in big festival like Do Festival in Belgium, and several times here in Lille in small places. Which configuration do you prefer?
I think when we're playing live, I think we like a room about the size that we've got tonight. A good sized room that you can fit up to sort of 400, 500 people. personally, when I'm DJing, I like to work with a much smaller room. It's a little more personal. But yeah, when you're playing live, the size of the audience doesn't really matter that much, as long as there's enough people to have a good, atmosphere. And sometimes, when you do really big festivals with huge audiences, you kind of have to tune out how many people there are, because it could kind of freak you out a bit. So you just kind of, I don't know, you just, once you're on stage with all the other guys, the pressure's off, you're just there with them, and it all happens. And as long as the audience is there and they're into it and they make lots of noise, it doesn't matter the size.